Well, hello there, everyone. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you. We are still talking about the winter storm across the entire South, but also here in North Carolina and specifically in our Piedmont Triad area. Now, at this point, coming up on the 9 o'clock hour, a lot of this is starting to go into past tense about here's what happened rather than here's what's going to happen, because a lot of us are seeing this with the snow coming to an end. In Greensboro, it's over now, and it has been for just about 1 hour. The snow slowly coming to an end from west to east, and by 10 o'clock, most all of us should be done with the snow, if not 11 o'clock for a couple other folks. It is so cold outside, though. Temperature right now is 20 degrees, and if you can believe it, earlier today we had a high during the day of 23. That's the warmest it got all day long. And because of that, this is a really different snowfall for our area. Number one, we didn't get all that much, but a trace to an inch is all we expected, and that's about what's been happening. But also, this is a really dry and powdery snowfall. A lot of times when we get snow, it is the wet and heavy kind of snow. Not the case this time. This is the view over in Burlington a little while ago. We saw some snow coming down over there, kind of coating everything in sight. It does appear like our camera is a bit frozen at the moment, but definitely a snow globe seen from time to time all across the Triad areas tonight. Our latest live radar, this kind of shows you where the storm is moving and how it's progressing. Right now, this would be the cutoff line, and probably it's a little generous on the west side right now. But for sure, all the snow is done in Rockingham County. Stokes County too. Forsyth County as well, you're totally done, and you didn't really get all that much to begin with in the first place. Davidson County, you still might have a little bit on the south side of I-85, but overall it is starting to wind down. We talked about Alamance County, Burlington coming out of the snow now. So is Graham. Mebane still has a little bit hanging on. Saxbahaw, you probably have a little bit more snow to get through. Orange County still coming down pretty nicely over toward Hillsborough for you. Asheboro still seeing some good snow. In fact, this is heavier action that's been pushing through Randolph County over the last hour. Better snow than was seen areas to the north and to the west. This gives us a better view. Lexington is also done with the snow. Denton almost is, and on 64 there you see mostly things are starting to stop falling from the sky, but the roads are already slick. We already know that. There's no surprises there. When you have snow in the south, there's going to be issues on the roadways, and even with all the treatment, it's so cold outside, there are going to be slick spots. What you look at on the broad view here using our traffic map, though, a lot of green in areas north and to the west. Areas south and east, well, there's more oranges and yellows. Before the storm system, we were kind of using I-85 as a guide. Areas north and west would be a lot drier. Areas south and east, we get more snowfall, and that's kind of what's been going on. It's the opposite of what we usually see in a given winter storm. And right now, Randolph County does seem to be our most affected county at the moment. We have big slowdowns here. This is 73 and 220. Notice some big slowdowns there where it kind of splits off with 311. And by Asheboro as well, you have a lot of slowdowns too. Same story over to Ramseur. And in parts of Davidson County, you have these slowdowns also as you work your way throughout the southern half of the county, where the snow still is starting to slack off a little bit. But it's 9 o'clock at night. Hopefully most people are home and off the roadways even so. Bottom line, the forecast details from here on out. Snow is continuing just a little while longer. It'll mostly be shutting down by around 10 to midnight at the latest. Now, our Triad area overall, we've already seen most of the snow that we're going to find. About a coating to around ½ an inch is what we found in most of the Triad. I myself measured about ¼ inch of snow here at News 2, which is in northeast Greensboro. Got a couple reports from a few folks in Kernersville, just a coating. Jamestown had about ¼ to ½ an inch of snow down that way. Similar totals across the area, but up to 1 inch is still possible as you work your way into Randolph and Alamance counties. We'll let you know as we get those totals starting to come into the station. Still be flexible, and yeah, the snow is going to end, but those roads will continue to stay slick and be an issue as we go into tomorrow morning, and possibly those issues could linger a little while longer. I know it's not much snowfall, but given the fact that it's so cold, there's just not going to be a lot of melting that goes on. certainly not in the shade, so keep that in mind. We do have winter weather advisories posted for our area, which just means slick travel is likely, and of course the forecast called for a trace to an inch of snowfall. In eastern North Carolina, though, it is a different story. They are going to see this storm continuing through the whole overnight into tomorrow morning, and it really will be a doozy for that area. In fact, those winter storm warnings continue all the way to North Florida and southern Georgia over to Alabama too. This has been a wild winter storm on the broad scale across most of the South. Now it is starting to wind down for the inland areas and truly become more of a coastal storm. Atlanta's dry now, so too is most of Alabama, and the western Carolinas, including us, are drying up. But you can see it's intensifying a little bit in our coastal communities. A lot of places you might enjoy to go on vacation in the summertime, and the beaches are getting a lot of snow, and that snow cover really impressive in places like New Orleans. I had to show this again. We showed it earlier today, and it's just one of the wildest pieces of weather video I can remember seeing. This is New Orleans, Louisiana, around 3 o'clock their time this afternoon. You might not be able to tell, but I'll step out of the way. On the left-hand side, those street lights there, that's the lake shore. That's Lake Pontchartrain right there. You have palm trees in the foreground. It's a little bit of a boardwalk area. We've used this camera before when tracking hurricanes to show you storm surge and how high the winds are. Never before have we used it for what almost amounts to a blizzard over that way. Now fast forward to here and now. This is current, a live view as of 9 o'clock in the evening. North Myrtle Beach, maybe you know it. There it is. We have snow on the roadways, maybe mixing with a little bit of sleet. Haven't been able to confirm that just yet. But either way, there's accumulation, and it is just beginning. They could see a decent amount of snow along the Grand Strand. So could Wilmington. So could the Outer Banks. And there'll be some really beautiful pictures to come out of that area going into tomorrow. This is the wide view of the snowfall right now. As we said, it is drying up in the foothills. It never really snowed there at all. It's drying up in the Triad as expected, and then pushing off toward the Raleigh area and then eastern North Carolina. Our view of the cameras over the last couple of hours looks like this. You saw earlier there was a good amount of snowfall and limited visibility, but at a certain point, everything started to clear up, and I think our Burlington camera did freeze a little bit. We'll work on that for you next. 9 o'clock, Futurecast here. Where do we go from here? Well, that's the cutoff line from Burlington to Asheboro. I think by 10 and 11 o'clock, we're starting to see that moving off out of Randolph, out of Alamance County. So whatever you have on the ground by about 11 o'clock tonight, that should be your snow total for the storm. And by the way, we'd love to get some of those in from you. If you have any measurements, please let us know. We can show some of them on the 11 o'clock news. Goes through the Raleigh area by about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then away it goes. My estimated snow totals across the state look something like this, about a trace to an inch. That's verified very nicely for the Triad, for Charlotte as well. Down near Columbia, South Carolina, around an inch. Raleigh probably gets about 1 to 2 inches before it's all over with. 2 to 4 across eastern North Carolina, and 4 to 6 is possible. Places like New Bern, places like Cape Hatteras, Nags Head, the Outer Banks, they could get a whole lot of snow, maybe as much as half a foot. The storm track is really interesting. You know, that low pressure goes right along the Gulf Coast, then it goes right up the Atlantic coast, but instead of curving up, it just kind of pushes away. A lot of our biggest snowfalls, they do come from the south, but they really curve at us instead of just pushing themselves away. And this one is pushing away, and so we just got a limited opportunity with a couple of hours and really lived on the edge of the snowfall for the system around here in the Triad. So bottom line, a little bit more snowfall for you. Storm total should range right in our forecast area of about a trace to an inch, and the roads are slick already, and they will continue to be through tomorrow and possibly even for the next couple of mornings. We're going to stay very cold, and that bitter cold air was difficult to take today. We had a high of 23 degrees. That's it. Coldest daytime high temperature since 2015. You have to go back all the way 10 years to see a temperature quite that cold for a high during the day. Now our low temperatures for tonight should be right there around 10 to 13 across the area. Just terribly cold, and with the wind, it's going to feel a little bit worse. Here are your feels like temperatures. Feeling like around 3 degrees early tomorrow morning. It'll feel like below 0 in the North Carolina mountains. Obviously always a little bit colder up that way. Now, what's the weather like for tomorrow? Well, it's all sun all the time. Let's take a look. We're going to see all sunshine, bitter cold in the mornings, right around 15 or so, feeling like the single digits. Before the afternoon, temperatures are in the upper 20s. That's it. We'll stay below freezing for the third day in a row with that sunshine. Our News 2 weather impact alert continues through Thursday because of the Arctic air. It's still a good idea to protect your pipes, drip that water, and make sure you are doing everything you can to stay warm. Over the next couple of days, we will slowly start to lose grip of the Arctic air, or I should say the Arctic air loses grip of us. We'll be back into the mid 40s, and that will feel warm by Saturday. We're in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees by Sunday, and as of right now, I don't see any other chances for snow or rain over the next 7 days.